Hello and welcome to the Gothic Unicorn and to another video on the 1/48 scale house. Now I've been busy since my last video and amongst other things I've got the furniture glued in place. I've done that so that I can move it around easier without having to keep removing the contents or the contents moving everywhere. So I've got it this way up at the moment. I'm going to turn it over and I'll give you a look at what I've been doing. Now, while the house is this way up, I do have to hold it in place. Mostly because if I don't, it all tips towards the roof because obviously there's only the porch is only at the bottom and the rest of the front isn't actually supported. So as you can see, there's the bedroom that we were working on last time, the kitchen that we've worked on previously, and you will notice that the bathroom has been fitted. Now, I ummed and ahed over adding a bathroom to this property and decided it had got to be done. But there was no way I was trying to make a bathroom this small. So I went out and bought one. Unfortunately, when it arrived, the wash basin, the bathroom sink, was damaged. And so I had to do a bit of repair work with some UV resin. I am quite happy with how it's turned out, and with sticking it in the back corner, you can't really see what estate it's in. But you know, it's better than nothing, and the rest of the suite looks quite good, and it's been given a bit of a dirty up. I wanted it to look like it was well and truly stained, and I think I've succeeded. Now I've also added a couple of other pieces. I've added a ladder which isn't actually glued in place, I've just realised, and I added the other of the Bergère chairs that I made for the bedroom into what's sort of a storage room up there. I may add some more to that room, I may not. I'm not 100% sure what purpose it serves now, but I'm thinking that in the past it might have been a room for a nanny. But over the years, stuff has been removed. Obviously, I still need to do the attic. I need to work on the nursery. The only piece of furniture I haven't stuck in is this bookcase, which was in the nursery, but it needs something, so I've got to fill that. And then, of course, I've got my living room down here, which obviously is empty. And that's what we're going to focus on today. And I'm going to move this out of the way and I will show you the kits that I'm going to be working on. Not necessarily all on camera, we'll see how it goes. I've got my little pile of Petite Properties kits here. Now the first three were from last year's advent calendar, and the final two I've bought as pieces that I decided I really needed for this house. So I've got my TV and wireless. This is going to be a house that, as I think I've mentioned in previous videos, hasn't really been updated for a good many years. So having the old-fashioned TV and the even older wireless seems to make sense. Then we've got this set, which is a dumbwaiter and butler's tray. Now I think I'm going to put the dumbwaiter into the living room, do it as some kind of more of a whatnot, which, if you don't know what a whatnot is, it's basically a kind of random piece of furniture that people used to put their little treasures on. The butler's tray I may do, and I may stick up in the bedroom so it looks like it's always been up there. Not sure yet. Obvious part of a living room, we need the suite, and I've got my suite here, lots of pieces again, lots of thick pieces of wood this time. So I'm going to be doing that, and I've got some suitably out there fabric. This is a nice sort of mustard yellow colour, which I think will clash lovely with my purple wallpaper, but hey, it's going to be vintage. If I can't go a bit out there with this, when can I? And then I've got a grandfather clock kit. This is actually the last of the kits that is intended for the living room. I know I'm probably going to need some more furniture for the living room, but I want to put this together, see what I've got, and then figure out what I need to make. But I thought that the clock was the perfect kind of addition to any old spooky house. And then I've got my rocking crib. Now this piece is going to play an important part in the story, the backstory of the house, but I'm not going to talk too much about that now. I don't know if I'll get to this one with this video, but if I don't, it'll be back soon. I am starting making with the vintage suite. So I've got a sofa and a chair, and most of the pieces are made out of little bits of MDF. Not massive pieces, so I've got to keep an eye on them. So I've got the sofa and I've got the chair. I'm going to move the chair aside because I really do not want to lose anything. And then I've got the sofa here, which is my starting point. I've also got these pieces that are cut from mount board. I've got some seat cushions and I've got some legs. Now I'm going to colour the legs a bit later on before I stick them on. I will do that with a marker, and obviously the seat cushions are going to have to be covered in the fabric before I can stick them on, but I'm going to put this aside for the moment as well. So I'm left with my 5 pieces of MDF. Now the first thing I've got to do is I've got to stick these 2 pieces together. Now they are the main seat section of the sofa. Let's do that. And it's not exactly complicated, this one isn't. This is just a stick 2 pieces together and wait for the glue to dry. So once that is dried, which it is actually going to take a while, and so I'm going to leave it for a little bit, I'm going to take my fabric, which I've got a smaller piece of here, so I'm not using a full fat quarter to stick everything down, and I'm going to stick this on and make sure that the sides, and in particular the sides and the front, it's actually only really the front that I need to make an effort with, because the sides are going to be covered by the, I'm thinking now. So basically I'm going to have to stick this down and wrap it around a little bit. Something like this. That's going to make a very, I'm out of shot, aren't I? It's going to make a very vivid sofa, but I will be dulling it down a bit, I think, maybe. So we'll wait for this to dry and then I'm going to start sticking the fabric. So I wrapped my seat pieces in the fabric, and I've just wound it around the back and the front. Now when I put the back on, I've got to make sure that there's some fabric on the bottom of the back, because that's where I'm going to be sticking the leg at the back, and I just want it to be the same size so it's not lopsided. I've actually stuck my back onto a piece of fabric. I've done the same with the arms. What I find is, as long as I use a good amount of glue around the edge, I can trim right to the edge of the piece and it doesn't fray. I'll just show you here with my smaller fabric scissors. And as you can see, I've got that. I didn't get it very straight on the fabric, but it will work. And I'll trim around that, and then I will stick that back onto the fabric the other way so that I get the two sides done. When I do the second one, I will turn that under so that it gives me my bit on the bottom. I am also preparing some fabric that's going to cover the top and sides. I've done this by using just a piece of the fabric that I've put some glue on the wrong side of. Always seem to be working on the wrong side when I use fabric. Once that's dry, I will then be able to cut that into strips and just glue it around the edge of the back and the side pieces even. But yeah, so more glue, more drying time, this time glue rather than paint. It is the miniaturist's curse, drying time. So I'm going to trim these off while I'm waiting for that to dry. Now I'm going to try and show you how I use this piece of fabric to do the trim bits on the arms, etc. Now if I was doing this at 1/12 scale rather than 1/48, I would have done this and folded it and ironed it and glued it, admittedly, but I wouldn't have raw edges like I've got on this. This is just simply because I can't do the bulk. That's actually one I've already done. If you can see, if I hold it at a sensible distance, you can see that it's not bad. It's not perfect, but this scale I'm sort of happy with. Okay. Now what I'm doing is I'm going to measure around here first off. Just sort of, I've got plenty there, but I don't want to cut it all off because I've got other pieces to do from this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my small fabric scissors and I'm going to put a little mark in there, and then I'm going to get my bigger fabric scissors and I'm going to try and cut this using my little nick as a starting point. Oh dear. And I'm going to try and cut a piece down the fabric at the correct width. Now, if you're really careful with this, you can do it by lining up the lines of your fabric. And then you see I can go back to this, and even if it's a little bit off, which it isn't too bad, I can trim it again once it's in place. Now I'm going to start by putting a bit of glue underneath, and then slather some of my glue. Don't actually need a lot of glue for this, but I like to get a good coverage because I figure that way I'm less likely to have problems with it coming up later. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to just put that little end bit around the bottom. I'm going to feed it up, making sure that it's lined up on at least one edge. I'll do that like that. And actually that's come out better than I expected. That's come out quite nicely. And then I'm going to just trim this off at the end, put one last little bit of glue on the back so it's all wrapped round, and there we've got my covered arm piece. And covering the back is exactly the same, it's just that you got a different shape. And again, if it overhangs a little bit, you can go back in with your fabric scissors and just trim it off. I have covered all the pieces of my suite, both the sofa and the chair, and I have coloured the little leg pieces with a alcohol marker. I've used a Pro Marker in Cocoa this time, which I think has got the right kind of look, and I'm now ready to start gluing them together. So I'm going to keep them separate again because I don't want to get too confused, and I'm going to start with the sofa. The first thing to do is to stick the seat piece to the back, and they're going to go together like so, a bit of an L-shaped piece. So I'm going to put glue along the back of here. A good amount, but not too much, and I'm going to stick this onto here. Now these need to be stuck so that they are right angles, so I will stick them onto here. Now I could get my my little jig out to do this, but to be fair, I think it's going to go together quite nicely. Now once this is stuck, and because I'd got the glue out a little while and my glue's tacky, they are starting to stick already. It's next step is sticking the arms on. Now again, I'm going to put the glue on the end. I'm not sure if this is how I'm supposed to do it, but I figure if I stick it on like this and stick my piece on like so, I can actually start to get something that resembles a little sofa. Wipe off any excess glue off the fabric at the back. Sticks out a little bit at the back because it's that sort of shape. And then I'm going to repeat with my glue on the other side. Now we have the basic shape of the sofa. Now I'm going to let this dry a while before I stick the legs on, which is the next step. So I'm going to put this aside and give it a moment. Here is the completed sofa and chair of my 1/48 scale vintage suite. I did film me gluing on the legs and the seat cushions of the sofa, but that footage will be deleted. Whilst waiting for the glue to dry, I made the mistake of reading a nasty, hurtful comment on one of my videos, attacking me personally and suggesting that I be replaced, presumably with a American. At this point, I'm ready to end this video here. I'm not about to go into personal issues, perhaps I should, but this channel is about the things I make. My accent and the speed at which I speak are irrelevant. It has taken me over an hour to film this clip, and I've had to resort to scripting it. Thank you for your unwanted, unnecessary, and quite frankly, horrible comment. It's been a few days. and I've come back just to actually put a bit of finish to this video and to show you obviously the finished suite again, sofa and chairs. I was going to make some cushions for it. I may yet, I may not, I don't know. I've also made the dumbwaiter, which I'm going to use as a whatnot, and the butler tray, which is going to go in the bedroom. And then I've made the wireless and the television and the grandfather clock. The wireless and the television have been given a little bit of glossy accents, which is a finishing product. It can be used as a bit of a glue, but it's actually a finishing product. It gives you a really nice glossy shine, and I think that looks great for my TV screen. Didn't do quite so well on the wireless, but it'll do. Anyway, these are the pieces that I've done this week, with the exception of the tray. They're all going to go into the living room. I think I still need a couple of other pieces. I would like to include some kind of little coffee table and possibly something the other side of the fireplace. I'm not sure what yet. I was going to have a go at making something myself, but I may just bite the bullet and order something off Petite Properties, just because it'll be quicker and I can then get the room finished. But anyway, that's what I've done. Progress has been made on the 1/48th scale house, and I'm going to end this here. If you've enjoyed this video, please like, comment and subscribe. If you're going to be nasty, keep it to yourself. Life's too short to be nasty to people that you don't know on the internet, especially when you don't make videos yourself. So if you don't do it, don't comment on it. That's all I'm going to say. Until next time, maybe. Bye.